Apple just released a trailer for their upcoming iPad powered by a brand new M4 chip. And within this trailer that went live for billions of people to watch, they did showcase the Octane X platform for its rendering capabilities, which is powered by none other than the Rndr network itself. You can see the logo right there in this Apple trailer is the exact logo for the Rndr token. And in anticipation of this trailer and the upcoming Apple AI conference next month, this token has rallied 39% over the past week and about 81% over the past month, where we did call the bottom for that pullback. So in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show, I want to break down more in depth all of the details and the potential collaboration between Rndr and Apple, as well as give you guys an update on the price action of this AI altcoin and discuss why I believe it can go much higher from here. Now, before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do enjoy the content, please consider hitting that sub and like button and turn that notification bell on so you can be notified when all of our latest videos go live on the channel. So we're going to get right into today's altcoin of discussion, and I am back once again to talk about the Rndr token. Now, if you've been on this channel for a while, if you've been here watching the videos, you know we have been covering this altcoin since last year. I have said pretty frequently this is my #1 AI pick for the upcoming bull run, and definitely has been a really good performer since early last year. In fact, if we take a look at its performance from the bottom, which did come in at around January 2023, this coin is up about 2,500% from those lows at 40 cents. Why? So we're going to get right into today's altcoin of discussion, and we are back today to talk about the Rndr token. Now, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know this is my #1 AI altcoin pick for the upcoming bull run, and we've been talking about this altcoin since 2023 on the channel. Now, since the beginning of 2023, this has been a very good performer from the large caps, one of the best actually. It's up about 2,500% from its bear market lows at about 40 cents, as it currently sits at $10.79 as of the time of this recording. And I think a big part of that is the fact that a lot of this rally has been driven by AI hype, and Rndr is positioned very well to benefit from this AI narrative, as they are connected with two of the most influential and two of the biggest companies in the world at the moment, which are Apple and Nvidia. So we did break down briefly at the beginning of the video this trailer that went live for Apple a couple of days back, and they're basically showing off their new iPad, which is powered by the M4 chip. So Apple users can augment the massive increase in rendering power on the M4 with access to near unlimited high performance decentralized GPU compute power on the Rndr network through using Octane X. So for those of you that don't know exactly what the Rndr network is, real quick, I do want to break it down. Basically, the Rndr network is a decentralized GPU blockchain marketplace. People take their idle GPU compute, they contribute it to the Rndr network for other people to tap into and basically borrow this GPU power for different rendering tasks as well as artificial intelligence tasks. And then the people who lend out this GPU power are paid in Rndr tokens. And, you know, at the moment, we are basically at the beginning of the exponential growth curve for AI. The demand is exponential. That is not the problem. The problem is the supply, the limited supply of GPU power that is available to go around. And that is exactly what the Rndr network is looking to solve through this decentralized GPU marketplace. So the fact that now people are able to tap into this from an iPad is very bullish for the long-term adoption of both Octane X as well as the Rndr network and the Rndr token itself. So here we have Jules Urbach actually showcasing the new M4 iPad at the Apple Store, and we can actually see here right on the home screen that Octane X is actually featured right there. You can see the logo here if I zoom in. Actually, the video is much more clear. So here's a video from Jules Urbach, the CEO at Otoy and also the CEO at Rndr. And there you have it. That is the Octane X app right on the home screen of the new M4 iPad, which hopefully will be selling to millions of people. I mean, I'm sure that's what Apple's going for. And that definitely would be good for the Rndr token as well if this was to be right there on full display for people when they power up their new iPad. So I don't know if this will come stock in the iPad when people actually officially download it, but even the fact that it is showcased here in the Apple Store is bullish in my opinion. And you know, the one thing I like about the branding, I think this was a very intentional choice and a very smart choice on behalf of the team, is to actually have the Octane X platform have the same icon that they gave to the Rndr token. That goes a massive way for brand awareness for people that use the Octane X platform. You know, if they do end up getting into crypto or looking at different altcoins, they will recognize this almost immediately based on the fact that it is the very same logo as Octane X itself. Now, additionally, we did see a very interesting message from Jules Urbach in the Rndr Telegram chat. And they're basically talking about the potential for iPads to become nodes on the Rndr network. So every single GPU that is contributed to the blockchain is identified as a node. People are able to tap into these nodes to harness the GPU power. And if we could actually see iPads themselves become nodes on the Rndr network, that would open up millions of devices to powering this decentralized GPU infrastructure, leading to much more demand for the Rndr token itself. So we do see Jules Urbach say here, working with our engineering counterparts on this for a long time, M4 iPad would be a powerful, super energy efficient node. API to keep the device GPU working while in background is one element. Apple is aware of the entire ecosystem. The visuals in the Apple keynote running in our app were made by the Apple team themselves. So there you have it. That is from Jules Urbach himself discussing the potential for iPads to become nodes for the Rndr network and the fact that Apple themselves are using Octane X to power some of their different rendering use cases. So for those wondering if Apple showed the Rndr logo in their new iPad Pro video, Octane is literally powered by Rndr, and you can see here as well in the picture in the apps that they do have it here once again. Now, that is not where the rabbit hole ends, okay? It does go much deeper than that, and this is a really good tweet from JJ Can. If you don't follow him on Twitter, I definitely suggest you do so. He dropped some really good alpha for Rndr, and he's basically showing off this patent that Apple did actually and he's basically showing off this Apple patent, which is basically proposing a distributed network management system, allowing the sharing of network resources between nodes in separate computer systems, orchestrated through service brokers and distributed ledgers. So for example, blockchains. And here is the exact patent right here from Apple. And here is an entire summary of how it works. So a distributed network includes two computer systems, each controlling a distinct set of network nodes. A first computer detects a resource request from its network nodes and receives resource data from the second system indicating what network resources are available for sharing. Based on the distributed ledger or the blockchain, a service broker identifies available resources in the second system that can fulfill the request. The broker then facilitates resource sharing between the two systems by informing both the first node and second system about the identified resource. So example of GPU sharing and rendering, the distributed network management system allows a node requesting GPU power to acquire idle GPUs from other nodes through the broker, i.e. the Rndr network's nodes. And you can see that right here. So record information regarding the exchange in a distributed ledger, for example, a blockchain. And then actually, let's go back to the first one. Yeah, further, the distributed network management system described herein can facilitate the exchange of network resources between network nodes in a decentralized manner. And then here again, we have them talking about central processing units, CPUs, and graphics processing units, so GPUs. So definitely some very interesting patents coming out of Apple, which They never specifically mentioned the Rndr network, but this sounds very similar to what Octane X is doing with Rndr. And the fact that they used it for their M4 trailer for that upcoming iPad, it definitely leads me to believe that they did have Rndr in mind while they were working on this patent, and that in the future we could potentially see a much bigger partnership between these two companies. And it really can't be understated if we see, some sort of partnership where Apple devices are able to harness the power of the Rndr network, where people are able to power nodes from their Apple devices. That would be incredibly bullish for the demand of the Rndr token, which, generally speaking, would mean that it would go up in price. And speaking of price, I do want to kind of talk about the price to wrap things up. Now, we actually tweeted here on April 8th, okay? April 13th. And this is when we basically saw the entire market kind of making its way to the downside. So let's go ahead and take a look at the past 1 month. And yeah, it was pretty much in and around right here that we did send out that tweet that I thought we'd pretty much seen max pain for the pullback. Now, from that tweet, Rndr is up about 75%. And yeah, I've been kind of saying this throughout the bull run. I think this is something that still applies, is that winners keep winning, especially when we are this early in a bull market. Generally speaking, the altcoins that do show strength in the beginning do tend to continue showing strength throughout the rest of the bull market. And I do think that Rndr is a prime example of that. So we did see these 3 wicks down through the bull market support band, validating it as a level of support. Rndr showed a lot of strength here on this most recent move. Even if we don't measure it from the April 8th bottom, if we measure it from April 29th, so just about 2 weeks ago, the token's up 56% on that last bounce back here off of the bull market support band. And there could definitely be a scenario where it does come back to backtest it once again. I think that's perfectly healthy for altcoins to retest their bull market support bands on their way up. But you can clearly see here that despite the volatility, that we have just seen a set of higher lows and of higher highs. So if we are going to continue that theme, I mean, the fact that we also cleared the 2021 all-time high of $8.80 is bullish in my opinion. When we were below that, it basically acts as resistance, and when we are above it, it acts as a very strong area of support. Generally speaking, I do tend to just view previous cycle all-time highs as very strong areas of price action. So the fact that Rndr broke below it and actually came back above it here in the same week, then again the next week it did the same thing. Then we saw it break below 880, and then in the next weekly candle made another convincing move back above it. To me, that shows a lot of strength for this altcoin, which I do think will continue. I think, Rndr sits in the middle of 2 very big narratives in the market right now. Number 1 being AI, and number 2 just being crypto in general. And, Rndr basically sits perfectly in the middle of both of these narratives. And that is why this coin continues to be my number 1 AI altcoin and my number 1 overall altcoin pick for this upcoming bull run. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. I hope you are all staying happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.